Roger Thurow, Enough, Why the World's Poorest Starve in an Age of Plenty. Enter the world of Enough, Why the World's Poorest Starve in an Age of Plenty by Roger Thurow, where the author unravels the complex and disheartening reality of global hunger. Despite the Earth's capacity to feed every individual on the planet, millions continue to suffer from starvation. Thurow delves into the case of Ethiopia and the significant impact of famine on the African continent, detailing the consequences of unaddressed infrastructural issues, lack of financial support for farmers, and political challenges. Moreover, the author examines the Green Revolution, Norman Borlaug's miracle seeds, and the hypocritical actions of developed nations, all contributing to the current state of worldwide hunger.
Fighting famine. Despite the Earth's capacity to feed everyone, famine is still prevalent due to delayed aid and inadequate infrastructure. In Ethiopia, food production skyrocketed with new technology, but primitive food markets and low-quality seeds caused a drop in food prices, making it difficult for farmers to cover their expenses. When a drought hit, farmers began to starve. This cycle of abundance and hunger is not unique to Ethiopia but a broader African problem. Governments need to invest in infrastructure, improve local food markets and provide financing and insurance to protect farmers against weather problems, food price crashes and starvation. Worldwide hunger, a man-made catastrophe. Hunger has become a major problem affecting almost 1 billion people globally, with death, diseases and malnutrition taking a toll on approximately 25,000 individuals daily according to the United Nations. Ironically, the world produces surplus food yet people are starving. Developed countries provide subsidies for their farmers disposing of poor farmers' chances of competing. Financial aid to impoverished nations is given with hypocritical strings attached. Hence, rich countries need to provide more assistance towards creating sustainable infrastructures that will help feed people and produce more food. Poverty and imperialism continue to fuel the inequitable distribution of resources. The Green Revolution. The Green Revolution was a significant breakthrough led by Norman Borlaug in the 1960s that aimed to overcome food shortages in developing countries. Borlaug, a plant pathology PhD, developed rust-resistant wheat strains that led to remarkable wheat yields in Mexico, South America, and Asia. Indian Prime Minister even cultivated his wheat in her home. The revolution was a success as it reduced famine, increased cereals production and improved the living standards of millions of people. As a result, Borlaug was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 for his efforts to combat hunger. The Dark Side of the Green Revolution. The book highlights the consequences of the Green Revolution of the 1960s and 1970s, which was meant to end global hunger. Increased global grain crops resulted in giant surpluses, overproduction, and the negative impact of cheaper commodities on developing world farmers. The book also explores the contribution of biofuel companies to the hunger situation. As developed countries shifted their focus from finding ways for African farmers to optimize their crop yields to looking at the adverse effects of food production, agricultural development aid to Africa fell through the floor. Structural adjustment programs further worsened the situation by reducing agricultural programs in Africa. Eliminating global hunger. Steps to end global hunger by providing aid to Africa and investing in agriculture infrastructure, seed technology, and subsidies. Global hunger represents a complex and imposing challenge that requires immediate action from nations, corporations, philanthropies, and world leaders. The Green Revolution must be extended to Africa's agriculture sector to eliminate famine and ensure food security. The following measures are crucial to achieving these goals. Firstly, developed nations must keep their promises to expand development aid. While $9 billion is given to African agricultural development annually, Africa requires around $20 billion each year to bring a notable difference. Secondly, aid must be directed towards individual farmers to invest in activities that can enhance crop yields, such as no-till practices, hybrid seeds, and fertilizers, as well as creating ponds and dams to preserve rainwater. Thirdly, Infrastructure investments are necessary as irrigation only serves less than 4% of sub-Saharan Africa's planting fields, and 1 of 3 rural Africans have access to a paved road. Inadequate irrigation makes it extremely difficult to grow food, while a shortage of roads stops farmers from taking their products to the markets. Fourthly, African nations must take responsibility for their agricultural sector by investing more in technological and other necessary advancements. Additionally, they must offer incentives for cultivating more lands, as only a handful of nations have allocated as much as 10% of their budget to agricultural needs. Fifthly, bioengineered crops that are resistant to bugs and diseases might provide maximum nutrition, and major corporations are starting to share their breakthroughs with poor farmers on a royalty-free basis. Finally, science should concentrate on developing biofuels from inedible plants or plant components instead of using edible plants like corn, which reduces the quantity of food available to the world's poor. Other measures include creating a global fund to assist small farmers in Africa, considering an international grain reserve to respond quickly to food emergencies worldwide, leveling the plowing fields by extending subsidies to African farmers, and offering more flexibility to U.S. food aid to purchase food locally and benefit indigenous farmers. To eliminate global hunger, it's essential for individuals to get involved and support organizations like their church, charity, university, or business that are working towards resolving this issue. By taking these steps, the goal to eradicate world hunger and malnutrition can be achieved, and food security can be ensured for all people.
Roger Thurow draws attention to the man-made nature of worldwide hunger and its devastating effects on millions of people. The world possesses the knowledge and tools to prevent famine, but collective failure and lack of action have allowed it to plague humanity. In the face of technological advances, dysfunctional policies, and inadequate infrastructure, Thurow calls for immediate, concrete steps to eradicate global hunger and extend the benefits of the Green Revolution to Africa's struggling agriculture sector. These steps include keeping development aid promises, creating a global fund for small farmers in Africa, investing in infrastructure, embracing seed technologies, and leveling the playing field for African farmers. Ultimately, enough acts as a clarion call for everyone to get involved and make a difference in the fight against hunger.